Avengers Endgame review part 2 spoilers.
There we go. That's a way to just cut right in the video. I like it.
Two, one.
Avengers part 2 Endgame.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame.
Sure, let's go with
part
that
2. Here come the
Amanda.
spoilers.
Can you speak?
5, 4. I'm Mike. 3. This is Jesse. 2. That's Brian. That's Jennifer. 1. Go.
I love you 3000.
I'm gonna hit you so hard.
We're going in 3, 2, 1.
Whatever it takes. Look at the world around you. Is it not more peaceful? Let's finish this.
Avengers Endgame.
So you want to start, Mike? Start
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Spoilers are coming at you. So, Hawkeye's family dusts away.
That was a really cool part. I was hoping that they were going to show that at the beginning because everybody in the last Infinity War was all, "Where's Hawkeye?"
And then we find out where Hawkeye is.
Yeah, his family just dust away. Which this
What?
daughter.
What do you want on your hot dogs? Mayonnaise? Ew, who wants
Puts
mayonnaise on
a
a hot dog?
The daughter who was playing the Hawkeye's daughter was Joe Russo's daughter.
Oh, snap.
So that's a really cool little tidbit there. So there's another thing going on with Joe Russo because we're going to skip ahead a little bit because now it's 21 days after the snap of what happens.
Yeah.
And Cap is doing group sessions as in war, but it's for people who have experienced the snap, who have survived the snap, and Joe Russo is in it, and he's the first openly gay character in the Marvel Universe.
I thought that wasn't until 5 years after.
No.
Is that 5 years after?
Yeah,
No, that is
that's
5
the
years
whole
after. So
section.
I did skip a whole section, I'm sorry. So, but that is something cool, so that I just want to get the Joe Russo thing out. That's my fault.
Use
That
the
was really
time
nice,
stuff, bring it back.
That was a really nice turn of a little nuance there
Yeah.
that you don't normally see.
Yeah.
Going back, you see Stark and you see Nebula in it's the Ravager ship. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy spaceship, and they're playing paper football.
So,
And every time that Stark would flick the football, Nebula would grab it like it was attacking her, and
Or
be like, "It's
anytime-
okay."
they both end in an A, so
Yeah.
in the sound.
Yeah. He does the message that you see in the trailers where he's talking to Pepper. That happens immediately. When I first saw the trailer, I thought that was going to happen like halfway through the movie. That's what I thought was happening. That we weren't going to see. We weren't going to see Iron Man halfway through the movie. You see him right away.
Oh yeah.
Dying.
And they're losing air. I don't think Nebula would have died because she's robotic.
She's mostly
Yeah.
robotic,
Yeah.
so she was fine. She knew what was going on with Tony Stark, and she actually tried to in a way, try to make him comfortable. You see at one point.
Yeah.
So that was very emotional, from the get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's this big bright light, and it's Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, who saves the ship. And I wonder if because there wasn't a distress call. They never said that they did a distress call. I wonder how she found them. That's the thing. That's one of the things
Because she was coming back to Earth because remember in the end of Endgame or Infinity War, not Endgame. Infinity War when Samuel L. Jackson has the pager and presses it.
Well, yeah,
She was on
but
her way back.
But
she got the
they
distress
cover
call.
that when they were before Carol Danvers goes out there. It was kind of where they connect Carol Danvers showing up,
yeah.
and they mentioned Tony Stark's still out there in this ship. He was heading, they were this way. They were coming from this planet, and so her having been traveled all around kind of would have had an idea where that planet was.
Probably.
That is.
It was a little bit of an odd pairing because I thought there was gonna be some sort of dimensional wormhole that he was gonna I thought this is how they were gonna do the time travel aspect. We haven't gotten there yet, but I thought that's how they were gonna do the time travel aspect. Was that somehow they were gonna get back
They
to Earth
could have
through it.
connected it better. Yes.
Yes, there was no real connection. She just showed up.
Right.
That's where
they gave it a very
Yeah.
brief connection. It's like they just lightly touched it.
I feel like that was kind of odd. I don't know. Because they have Captain Marvel being brought in
Yeah.
at the end scene at the end of Captain Marvel. And that is where they say, where's Fury? And they did that, so they almost didn't even have to even touch upon that in Endgame. We already know it, and that's what's going to happen.
which she's not in this movie at all.
Barely.
She
I was mad
barely
about
in this
that.
movie.
I
Black
agree.
Widow's peanut butter sandwiches in the movie more than Captain Marvel.
True, because she's not in the, she's barely in the movie, and she's supposed to be more powerful than Thanos, and that's what
I
Joe
was
Russo
disappointed
said.
in that.
I was honestly mad about that because they made such a big stink. I know sometimes it had to have been people's theories saying like how big of an impact it was on the movie, but I kind of thought it was garbage that they say she's so powerful, had her have her own movie beforehand,
Yeah.
have her get brought in like she's going to save them, help do that whole thing, and then she's only in the beginning, and then in the middle, and then at the
2
very
minutes.
end.
She's in it like 2
And I'm
minutes
like, are
in
you
the
serious?
middle. Like 5 minutes at the end.
And I don't know if they did it on purpose, saying, oh, well, she just had all this screen time in the one prior, but everyone else has had a bunch of screen time, so I
think
thought that
the
was
reason
weird.
why is because she filmed Endgame before she filmed
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So she didn't know what was going on. That's why you see a little bit of character come out of her at the end, which we'll get to. And there wasn't too much of a build-up of her character in Captain Marvel, to the point to where we want to see almost a Tony Stark-esque character. You see it a little bit at the end of Endgame, where they actually let her be herself instead of just a robot saying these lines for Captain Marvel. And I like Captain Marvel, don't get me wrong, but after watching it again a couple times, there are a few things that bug me, and we won't get into that. But so we get to Earth, and Captain Marvel brings down the ship. Tony gets off. Pepper's still around,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Steve shaves his beard, so he's not Mountain Man anymore. And Stark has a really big line here where they're saying that they're all saying that we have to figure out where Thanos was. And Stark goes, I know where Thanos is, I know what Thanos did. He kicked our ass. And he gets mad at
Rogers.
Steve, saying that he said that we were going to die together, and he wasn't there. So there's still the Civil War aspect that's coming out that
Well,
Stark hasn't
animosity
gotten
from
over.
that.
Yeah. And then Stark goes into like a coma for like I don't know how long, because he was.
Was that a coma?
It was.
Or did he just pass out and they...
No, they sedated him. They
Sedated
sedated
Yeah.
him.
I mean, it's a
Medically
medically induced coma.
Pretty much.
And then they say we are going to find Thanos and we're going to kill him. Because this is 21 days after. And they just had the power surge of the Infinity Gauntlet happen again on another planet.
I believe he says, "Let's go get this son of a bitch."
Yeah,
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that was just like how it kept the whole running joke.
That's
Throughout all
what
that time
really
saying,
character
and
development
don't
story.
watch your language.
Yeah.
Language.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
get the
And then they
son of a
did that.
bitch.
I was like, that's...
Yeah.
It's like character progression, pretty much.
Who is it? It's Hulk.
Captain America.
It's Captain America,
Thor.
Scarlet Witch, not Scarlet Witch. I was gonna say Scarlett Johansson, and then
It's Black
Witch came out,
Widow.
Black Widow.
Thor.
Nebula, Thor, Rocket, War Machine are all that's left of the Avengers after
The snap.
the snap, and they go to this planet which is basically uninhabited except for Thanos now because he used the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. And I'm really happy that they did this because there's a whole section of comic books where it's just Thanos on his farm,
Yeah.
where he's just farming, and whatever fruit he grabbed, that looked really cool.
Oh yeah.
It looked really tasty.
It almost gave a human side of Thanos.
Yes.
It's like a pineapple or something, a space pineapple.
Space pineapple.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there and he's doing all this work. He's wearing a wife beater, which I don't know where the hell he got his wife beater from.
No, it's just like a white shirt with the sleeves ripped
Yeah,
off.
it's crazy.
He's just trying to make some dinner.
He's He's living almost a normal life after he just committed mass
Genocide.
genocide and homicide, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, come crashing through is Captain Marvel, Hulk, and the one line that everybody remembers from
Hulk's
this
not
movie. What?
It's not
Oh,
Hulk.
it's
Banner.
It's Banner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just Banner at that point.
That's right.
The one line that I remember from this movie is "I am inevitable."
Yep.
Whack.
And Thanos almost has a sweet moment with Nebula, saying that he might have been too hard on her for all these years, and then Thor just completely kills him.
Yeah.
Thank you, daughter.
It's just a little too late from,
Yeah.
from a standpoint. So, they don't maybe should have thought about that before.
Too little, too
You know,
late.
turning your daughter into a robot.
From the standpoint of the time stone.
You can see though that he's almost humbled by what he did, because he realized how many people he hurt and how many people he killed. So he's trying to live with himself. Which Thanos is probably the best villain in the Marvel universe by far.
Yeah, one of.
And because he has such different emotional sides to him. What he's doing, he believes, is right because it's cutting down half the population. It's killing people, but he's doing it because he watched his own planet get decimated because of overpopulation.
Yep, he's bringing balance.
And he believes what he did is right. He knows what he did was wrong, though. And he feels that this emotion is making him almost a sympathetic character because he tries to have this moment with his daughter, and then Thor just kills him.
Well,
He
I
has
mean,
him.
he did tell Thor in Infinity War should aim for the head.
Yeah,
Sure he did.
and then he aimed for the
Sure
head.
did.
Thor didn't forget.
No.
I mean, he literally quoted,
What did you
I
do?
aim for the head.
I went for the head.
Yeah.
Like he told me to.
So there's something I do want to talk about with that section.
Mhm.
So I'm going to put the link below. There is an interview that comicbook.com did with Joe Russo, and it's called Game Over, an Evening with Joe Russo. And they go into a lot of aspects of the movie where people either had questions or that Joe wanted to explain some information. So one of the aspects that they talk about is when Thanos gets killed. So when they're taking the direction of the movie, how they find Stark, they are all together, it seems like it's going to be a movie going into the direction of an adventure. And that's what the movie is going to be about. That's how they were kind of aiming it that way. But then they kill Thanos 20 minutes into the movie. And it's kind of like so much of a surprise that your head doesn't know what to do with that information. Because the person who interviewed from comicbook.com said that they put any type of theories they will put on their website. No one on their website, nothing came about that Thanos was going to get killed 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, that early is kind of
Right.
big shock.
And Joe said that by doing that, your whole thinking process of this is going to be an adventure type movie,
You
well,
had no
guess
idea
what?
where
That
to
was the
go.
first 20 minutes type thing, and now he's dead, and it takes this whole other turn that your head doesn't even know where to think. They kind of wanted to do that in a sense so you don't know honestly what's going to happen going through that.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to add that tidbit in. So I have a lot more that kind of.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
They the shock factor really did work because I saw it opening night and I paid about a month earlier to make sure that I had the tickets for it.
Not me.
Yep.
And
He went in person to get his tickets
I
when
did.
everyone else was trying to deal with online crash situations.
yeah, they all, that was the coolest thing is that everybody crashed and I already had my ticket stubs. Everybody was just scrambling to get their tickets and I'm like, guys, I already have mine.
Yeah.
Now this is the part where it's 5 years forward, and this is the part where Cap is doing his group for this is where Joe Russo is, and the guy that created Thanos for the comic books. He's I can't remember the comic book artist's name, but he created Thanos. He's also in that group scene. Then we hit the Avengers Tower or Avengers Compound. And you see Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, basically patrolling what's going on throughout the world. They have Rocket.
Captain
Did you
Marvel,
know-
And War Machine.
Rocket's costume in the movie is the costume he wears in the comic book.
Yes, that was really cool that they finally put him in there.
His red
It's
scarf and stuff.
Captain Marvel, War Machine. Who's the guard for Black Panther?
Okoye.
Okoye. And they're all patrolling different areas of the world, and Captain Marvel is outside in the galaxy, just like how the Guardians are with Nebula and Rocket. And they're all patrolling, just trying to make sure everybody's okay. And they're searching for any way that they can find to almost make peace with what they're doing, because they're still trying to work through it. But as Black Widow dyed her hair back red, and you can still see blonde pieces.
She didn't dye it. Her hair's growing
Yeah,
back.
she didn't
It's
grow it.
all
It just
growing
grew
out.
back over the
She
5
dyed
years.
her hair blonde, and then the red is growing back. In
She
the
looks way
eyeliner.
better. Way better as a redhead.
I like her better as a redhead.
Yeah.
And Cap comes in and he says, I saw a pack of blue whales, or whatever it was, a school of blue whales, whatever they're called. And it's showing that the pollution input and the pollution impact that humans have is not affecting it anymore, and that's why you see the blue whales crossing through the Hudson and stuff like that. Which I don't think there's any way that they could cross through the Hudson, because I think whales are too big. Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't remember that?
you didn't notice that part of the movie where
No.
they talked about how it for the planet itself, it was kind of good that all these
Yeah.
people died, because let's face it, humans are kind of trash ruining the planet. But it's a whole other subject.
Yeah.
But dealing with the death of all those people.
And really quickly, just talk about the scenery, because you see City Park, which is the Mets baseball park, just completely empty, almost destroyed. You see the Statue of Liberty with boats just everywhere around it, because either they just crash landed onto it,
Washed up.
or they were done by people who were looking for salvation, like what the Statue of Liberty was before.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of symbolism throughout this movie that show what the world could be, with how it is when these people are gone. And Cap says, I have to do this because people try to move on, and then he says, but we can't. And that puts into motion the whole thing, where they have to figure out how to get all these people back. And then we get the Ant-Man scene.
Yep.
Now, for those of you who haven't seen Ant-Man and Wasp,
I'm holding up an Ant-Man
he is.
figure.
It's too small though, because he's
I'll
Ant-Man.
just,
Because can't see him because he's Ant-Man.
you let
Love
Jesse
Jesse.
play with them.
You want to play with my Ant-Man?
No. It seems very inappropriate.
You want to play with my Ant-Man?
Yeah.
He'd be gone.
Out of listening to that.
We get to the Ant-Man scene, and for those of you who haven't seen Ant-Man and Wasp,
Good
the
I haven't seen it.
end credit scene, he goes into the what dimension is that called? The microverse
Quantum.
dimension, the quantum
Quantum
dimension.
realm.
Yeah, the quantum realm. And he gets stuck in there because that's when Thanos snaps,
And they can't bring him back.
and they can't bring him back. And 5 years have passed.
But it's only been 5 hours.
It's only
for
been
him.
5 hours for him, but before we get to that, because we're not there yet, we see a cameo from Kim Jong,
Yeah.
because Joe Russo and Anthony Russo wrote a bunch of Community episodes and directed a bunch of Community episodes.
Ken
and,
Jeong.
Yeah, Ken Jong. I didn't mean Kim Jong.
I'm like, Kim Jong was in that
No.
movie?
Yeah.
What?
Ken Jong, my bad. Same thing. Ken Jong.
No, it's not the same thing.
They're both actors. It's okay. Ken Jong is in the movie.
Okay,
He's
we're
playing a
acknowledging.
security. He's playing a security
Guard
guard. I can't remember what it's called. The security guard. And he is,
of a storage facility.
and he's the security guard of a storage facility. And Ant-Man pops out of the.
Because
Of a rat.
Of
of a
rat.
rat.
That rat put into motion everything.
That rat's the MVP.
That rat is the real MVP.
Unlike Star-Lord.
Oh!
Whoa.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
So this is a really emotional scene too, because he goes through a neighborhood in San Francisco that's just completely abandoned.
Except
And
one kid
there's-
on a bicycle.
There's dogs running around, and so the whole thing is it all life that gets half taken away, or is it just people that gets taken away?
I
Because
believe it's all life.
I think it's all of life, but there's still dogs running around. There's blue whales, obviously.
But
There's-
some did go away.
Some
though.
probably did go away, and then I think that gets proven later on as well. And he goes to this monument of everybody that got snapped away that all
That was
looked
so
invested.
creepy.
And he finds himself on it.
And he finds himself because he's looking for anybody that's Lang or his wife, and he sees himself, and he goes and sees his daughter, which is the same actress who played his daughter years ago,
Yeah.
which is a really cool thing because she
Wait.
grown up big time too, I believe.
And
the
the
first-
same person?
I think it is.
Fact check.
She was so little though. How did she?
Yeah.
There's no way she grew up that
And-
fast.
Well, that was
I think
Was
it's
it
someone
5
new
years?
who brought in.
Well, you also have
Because
to
she was
remember-
still little in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
it might have been.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah. But that.
She
the
might.
whole
Well,
thing
no,
with
I
the
think she was like 12,
something like that.
something around there.
The Monument Park was so creepy because anytime you go to Washington, D.C., or if people go to the 9/11 Memorial, it's just so quiet and still, and there's just this like weird feeling when you're going around looking at that just imagine that being in all of these cities.
Yeah.
One thing that Joe Russo, either this interview or another one brought up saying that they were actually going to show monuments in several cities all over the place. But they decided just to show
The one.
that one, yes. But that was it's just so creepy of like all of the listings to find
It's not
see
the
if
same
Is
girl.
that the same girl?
No.
They look very similar. Jesus.
Throw your pen at him.
Please don't talk about it.
drop the pen. Don't give it on the wall.
You got
I'm good. He's good.
Pens stay on the table.
Anyways,
Children.
so he goes and he finds his daughter, and that's a really emotional scene because it seems like she's the only one that was left out of their whole family.
Yeah. The
That was a very nice like
Yeah.
togetherness reuniting.
And so then he goes to the Avengers Tower because they're just, and he hits the and the video screen comes up, and it's the thing that you saw from
Trailer.
It was the trailer, and he goes, "Hey, it's Scott Lang, it's Ant-Man. I know you know that name." Germany, all that stuff, and he's working through all this stuff because they let him in about how time travel can be affected in the quantum realm. Because he said it's been 5 years since he's been gone, but for him it was only 5 hours.
right.
Creepy.
The fact that like Widow actually just completely was like, oh yeah, only just for casual talk with quantum realm theories.
Yeah,
Quantum
I
physics.
think that was
Just for conversation.
Yeah.
and
She's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
just for casuals.
and so they figured out that they can fix all this through time travel, which was one of my theories that we did in our previous video for Infinity War theories.
Series for Endgame.
Yeah, for theories for Endgame. I said time travel. I thought it was going to be Doctor Strange, not Ant-Man.
You said it was going to be the time stone.
I did.
Use the time stone. But
I did.
They didn't use the time stone.
You thought it was going to be an alternate universe.
We're going to have to go back and check.
Yeah. So I was correct on saying it was going to be time travel, but I was wrong on saying who it was.
And I said they were going to have something in there that helped with the
Suit.
time travel with their suits.
Probably.
So I was part right, you was part right. And
And-
2 parts make a whole.
Not always.
It's not true at all.
Shut up. Stop it. Stop it!
Get wrecked, son.
So they go and find Tony, who now is living in the woods, which is a complete 360 from,
Right.
or a complete 180
Maybe.
from living in the city and living in Malibu.
I
He's
thought that was
living
so
in
nice.
he's living in the woods, and he goes out and he finds, and he's talking to somebody who's in a tent, and it's his daughter Morgan. Which, fun fact, Morgan Stark is actually his cousin in the comic books, and he's actually a bad guy. So that's a completely different character arc.
Yeah.
So Morgan Stark is a good as a little kid in this one, his daughter, instead of being his cousin who wants to kill Tony Stark. And she's wearing a Iron Man mask that's blue,
I thought that was cute.
and he made it for his mom, which says rescue at the end of the game, at the end of the movie.
Her
Which is-
mom.
Her mom,
yeah.
his wife,
His wife, whatever.
He said.
Pepper Potts, rescue.
So Cap, Ant-Man, and Scarlett Johansson. I can't call her Scarlett. I don't know why.
Black Widow.
Natasha. There we go. They go and they find him in the woods, and they ask him to help out, and he says no because they can't guarantee that his family won't still be
And
here.
he already got his second chance.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Can't screw it up.
Stroke it out.
Love it.
So he finds the new scientist, which is Professor Hulk.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Professor Hulk.
Dab.
Possibly one of my. Oh my god, that was.
Dab.
I won. And he doesn't even do it right. He goes like this. Damn. And they meet him in a diner, and there's like a big bowl of eggs, bacon, like almost a entire loaf of bread.
It's not even like a normal person's size
Yeah.
bowl.
No, it's a serving bowl.
It's like a giant stainless steel mixing bowl
Yeah.
that they use industrial size.
Pretty much.
And he's just like, guys, come on, eat. And they're just like, no. And so by the way, it's Hulk. It's Bruce Banner talking as the Hulk. He's not a Green Rage monster anymore. He learned to use his mental capabilities to become his intelligence and not just be Smash.
He combined the two evils.
Well, he learned to accept the other personality. You know, he instead of trying to shove it away,
Yeah.
he welcomed it finally.
And I've been waiting for this because I love the Professor Hulk comic books. Because he's just it's funny watching Hulk, this big green rage monster that just destroys everything,
Hulk smash.
and then he can do quantum physics. It's funny.
And take pictures with young kids
Yeah,
at the
there's a
diner.
kid. That was a funny scene because
Yeah.
Paul Rudd is possibly the funniest person in this movie. Legitimately.
Do you want my
probably is.
picture? No.
He's
But
just
I'm
like-
Ant-Man.
yeah,
No,
he's
that's
a Ant-Man.
okay. Just take
It's
the
like,
phone.
yeah, it's just like, come on, you know you want his picture. You just like take the goddamn phone.
No.
And
no, it's okay. Walking away. Dab.
Dab.
Cringeworthy.
Which another thing, another fun fact is that in the Lego Avengers video game,
That I have not beaten yet. To make that abundantly clear.
there is
Yeah.
there's side missions where you have to take selfies with the Hulk.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
So that's where that came from.
Wow.
So you have to take selfies with the Hulk as a side mission. So they took that from Avengers, Lego Avengers, and put that in Endgame. So there's a lot of fan service in this movie, and they do a really good job with it. So we're gonna skip ahead a little bit to when they first start doing the time travel stuff, and instead of making them go through time, they're pushing time through
No,
Ant-Man.
you skipped the best
Yeah.
part.
What
Don't
the-
worry.
what part?
Where Ant-Man is sitting outside eating the taco.
Yes, they also skipped Thor.
He's outside
Oh,
eating
yeah, I
the
just
taco
skipped
and
the word,
everybody
didn't I?
lands,
Well,
and then the
about
taco
New
gets
Asgard?
destroyed, and Professor Hulk brings him 2 tacos.
Well, it's Fat
instead.
Thor.
No, it's Professor Hulk that
No.
brings him
Well, no,
2 tacos.
before they go.
Yeah.
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 Before the tacos, they went
To get Thor.
to get Thor, and it was when they were bringing Thor back that all the stuff fell out of his taco.
No, that was when they went to get Thor. That was after the tacos
Yeah.
fell out
Was
because
that
that's
after
when the
tacos?
Guardians came down.
Yeah.
That's when Rocket and
There's a whole scene with the taco that he really likes.
yeah.
Really like
That's
tacos.
We all know this.
They go to New Asgard, which is cool because that was also another thing that I was expecting from them doing Ragnarok. Because in Ragnarok, there's supposed to be a floating city over Oklahoma, which would be New Asgard. Instead of this, they're in Norway somewhere.
No, it's Johannesburg.
Well, it's still Norway.
Is it Johannesburg?
I think
No,
so.
it's because it's from where they got the Space Stone in the first Captain America.
No, that's where they met his dad in Ragnarok.
Oh.
Yeah, there's the cliff is there, dude.
No.
Yeah,
Fact check.
fight me on this,
You
dude.
fact check it a lot. Don't
Shut
you?
up. I gotta prove Brian wrong.